I looked in that dictionary down there about time, and there was at least 8 and maybe more definitions of time. What time is it? I'm going to time you in this race. The physicist might have a different version of time. Supposedly, if you go off into a space journey and traveling at very high speeds and come back 30 years later, people on Earth will be a lot older than you are. Now try to figure that one out. I'm sure that Einstein had it worked out, time in his theories, but I don't understand it. Time at the dentist seems long. Time when you're enjoying a beer with your buds seems short. People say that as you get older, time speeds up. Your sense of time speeds up. And in my case, that's absolutely true. I can't believe that I'm 86 years old, and where in the heck did 1999 go versus 2022? It just seems like a blur, but when you see your children and grandchildren grow up, you realize that, yeah, there was 22 years. I read something the other day, and I even gave a speech on it, and it's called The Illusion of History. You can understand what has gone on in the past, but your mind doesn't really grasp what's going to change. I had just a thought of that. I was looking out the window at the snowstorm and realizing that years ago, maybe even close to 10 years ago, the summer used to be filled with swallows on the lines outside and in the birdhouses, and they became fewer and fewer. And last year, I don't know if I saw one of that type of swallow. So what's happening there? I don't know.
On my second to last day in Wise River, Grandpa wanted to show me his favorite winter fishing spot. I could go there in the summer too, he said, now that I was older and more capable. We walked out from the greenhouse, over the neighbor's fence and down an irrigation ditch. Apparently this was safer than the old way, which was down a steep hill behind the house and into a pond. We made it to the icy edge of the big hole. Winter isn't great for dry flies, so I had on 2 nymphs, and Grandpa fished a streamer. The tip of my new rod broke almost immediately. We were still a ways from the fishing spot, so we pressed on. Shuffling and sliding our way down a frozen offshoot of the river, I could see Grandpa's friend Peter's house. Our family calls it the castle. The fishing spot was at a confluence of the river, splitting around an island and joining back up with itself. Grandpa used a San Juan worm attached to a stone fly with a bubble on top. He'd thrown it in the frozen backwater and then walked it down the edge at the speed of the river. I paced around the bank with my broken rod as Grandpa fished out on the slick ice. I had a vision of him crashing into the river and floating downstream. I didn't want to ask him to come back in because I wasn't going to embarrass myself or hurt his pride. Thankfully, he gave it up after a beat, saying the ice was too thin and slick to really give it a go. So we headed back, this time cutting across Peter's field. As we walked, I fantasized about an apocalyptic future, where I'll creep in and seize the castle at night. Grandpa and I climbed Peter's barbed wire fence and walked back into the willows. Going up the irrigation ditch, we noticed a dead body in the grass. She didn't have an ear tag we could see. How did she die? A broken leg? Disease? It was hard to tell. We quietly finished our walk up to the greenhouse.